Welcome back to Newsday. Governance in Abia State seems to have taken a new turn since Governor Alex Otti took the oath of office. The governor, in his inaugural speech, promised to conquer the challenges of decades of poor quality governance, decades of stunted growth and development, deprivation and injustice, among other menaces. He also promised that the workers would henceforth be paid their salaries on or before the 28th of every month, a promise coming just after he sacked almost 15,000 workers who he claimed were illegally employed. These promises are part of the 5-point agenda of his government to address the challenges of economic and social transformation, public service reform and internal security. However, analysts are skeptical and wondering if the governor has delivered on any of the highlighted promises, especially having marked the 100 days in power. Well, joining us now to discuss this development is the Abia State Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Norman Obinna. Good to have you on Arise News. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, let's start with your assessment of the performance of Governor Alex Otti so far in Abia State.
Honestly, I have to be very, very frank here. If we want to assess Governor Alex Otti, there is nothing to assess about the government. The government, as far as I'm concerned, as far as political watchers in Abia State are concerned, the government is run on propaganda. You know, when you invite, what do you call them now, social media influencers, when you invite clowns and, these people, what do you call them again, the skit makers, to promote your government in the social media, it simply means that's an acceptance of failure on the side of the government. Shortly after Governor Alex Otti took office, from the inaugural speech, it's been a problem. From the time, to his inaugural speech, when he labeled everybody in Abia State, criminals, the political parties, everybody in Abia State, politicians in Abia State, all criminals except his government. And to the point where he considered when he failed to, hang the president's portrait in his office. It led to Ajibaji and a kind of breath between the camps. But as you speak, what is happening in Abia State right now is lachrymose. It's poignant for a government that, campaign on the strength of accountability, transparency, to indulge in omnishambles, bundugus and opacity, just few months after he was elected in office. As we speak, after the inauguration, the governor of the city went to social media and everywhere and announced that he's embarking on the construction of Osai Road, 6-lane Osai Road. Now, what is interesting in this story is this. The Osai Road is an existing road it's a federal government road about 3.5 kilometers. That is about 4 lane, but it's not up to 4 lane, just because it's a tiny 4 lane. What is going on there is an expansion of that road. It's an expansion that's supposed to, start from the tower to Opera Square. That's about 3-point-something kilometers. And they say it's constructed a 6-lane lane. That's a lie. It's a deceit. And as you speak, go to that place and see what is happening there now. That job was given at the rate of 8.41 billion naira. Now you begin to wonder, what kind of prudence is this? A governor that says he's going to be interested in prudence, why are you spending 8.1 billion naira to expand the road that is not to 3 kilometers?
Probably, let me start it off by telling you that whatever you say, you would almost be indicting his predecessor, Ikpeazu, because the failure of Ikpeazu will be the opportunity that Alex Otti is looking for to probably right the wrongs. Because you're mentioning the monies that have been spent, and a lot of people will sit back and look and say, okay, but Ikpeazu has been trying to stifle the governor from probing into the $191 billion debt that was accrued during his government. And for every bad road that has not been fixed, because we're talking about a governor that has not spent up to a year in office. He just celebrated 100 days some few weeks ago. So when you put all that into context, you're almost indirectly indicting the previous government for failures that maybe this particular government is trying to actually address. Do you see it that way?
My brother, the issue of debts in Nigeria is a phenomenon. It's a general phenomenon. Abia State is not really state that is owing debts.
But if the monies that have been collected cannot be accounted for, it's a problem.
No, it's not about, even now, as we're still in Abia State now, we don't even know, that's why I saw opacity. We don't even know how much has accrued to the government. We don't even know how much Abia State have been under the Alex Otti. So you cannot say we have departed from the old ways. if you also accuse Abia, because I'm saying that it's under the strength of, accountability and transparency that he gained, really into power. And he has done the same thing that he's accused the government of doing. As I speak to you now, we don't even know how much you have in Abia State. We don't even know how much of the, in fact, even the contract I told you about was awarded without design, nothing. People just woke up and saw that road has been given, no bidding, nothing, no due process. But that's not even the point I'm saying. The point I'm saying is that if we actually want to develop Abia, if we know that we are sincere to ourselves and want to develop Abia State, why do you have to spend 8.1 billion naira to do a 3.1 kilometer road? It is an aberration. That's what I'm saying. And then you look at Port Harcourt Road. Port Harcourt was awarded by OKZ for 9.8 billion naira. Now, after 27, that road, Heartland did that road end-to-end drainage. And 40%, earthwork from number 1 Port Harcourt Road to Rat Junction. As we speak, Abia State government, representative Abia State government, awarded that same road to Julius Berger for 30 billion naira. Who does that? How do you explain that? While his counterpart in Delta State governor, awarded 11.9 kilometer road with 3 flyovers, 6 pedestrian bridges, and interchange for 78 billion naira. So if we are doing such 5.9 kilometer road for such a exorbitant price rate, and the contract will last for 18 months, that is April 2025, with such littleness, snail speed, how are you going to develop Abia State if it's going to cost you, 18 months to build a 5-kilometer road for 18 months till 2025 April? That's not what the Abia we anticipated, and that's not the Abia we clamored for. I've been the other critics of Abia State government, right from the time of Governor Theodoji, and nothing has changed. The reason I'm shouting right now is not because nothing has changed. Now we look at the other aspect of it. The civil service in Abia State, we are owed salaries, but there's something we are not saying to ourselves here. I'm not for the PDP, I'm a chairman of a political party. Now, OKZ administration, I'm not holding forth for them, but they only hold some workers, not all the whole ministry. That is just the truth.
Is that good enough?
It's not good enough. That's why it's not an excuse at all. It can never be an excuse. It can never. And in fact, I wrote several articles where I condemned the government. In fact, there was a time I even asked the civil servants and the pensioners to come out on the street, let us stage a protest and ensure that the government pays the money. It's obvious, but see what happened. Immediately because Alesi came into power, when he has promised that he will not do anything, he sacked over 10,000 of them and suspended about 5,000. As we speak, we don't have up to 10,000 civil servants in Abia State. Some of them, the PAMSEX, they were all disengaged, suspended without salaries. And it's more than 4 months now. In one of my programs, I asked them to go to court, because this is just against the civil rule. Now, when you look at the local government, he sacked the whole commissioners, he suspended all the commissioners, not just giving him 14 days to return them. Then he took the 17th seal of the 17 local government to his house. Now, he is the local government chairman as you speak. He is everything. He's a councillor. He's a state governor. He is everything. You cannot run administration as if it's a private enterprise. Abia State, under democracy, people are expected to contribute their quota. When you obfuscate, the civil service and obfuscate egalitarianism and begin to build a society of this thing.
Mr. Obinna, we know that when the governor came into office, he declared state of emergency in several sectors. And we understand that he's been, undertaking massive cleanup of the state, trying to clear all the refuse that used to litter the state. He set up Operation Crush. He's been trying to work on the educational sector, healthcare, and some people would say that he's only been in office for just a small number of time. Isn't it a bit too early for you to say that he's not doing anything? Isn't it a bit too early for you to rubbish all his efforts? I
am not rubbishing his effort. I'm saying that when you are output, when the media hype is greater than the output, that is where we are arguing.
I have a problem with the media.
I don't see.
It's all about perception.
I have a problem with that.
You're a media man, so you
no. Let me say yes. I'm a media man. But
so you understand.
Let me tell you
this.
Okay.
You understand this very, very well.
I understand. Let me say
for you to be faulting a man for probably blowing his own or touching his own horn shouldn't be a problem.
Let me say something, my brother. Now look at, I happen to be one of the editors of New Telegraph. I understand these gimmicks. I know what it is. I know what media is all about. Now, what I'm saying
what we do in media is not gimmicks. Just correct that. Okay. You understand the style.
I understand the style.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. I was watching one of the programs here when the news, what was trending.
Yes.
And it was said that Governor Alesi has forfeited his salary, to pay pensioners and civil servants, and they were hailing him. Most of us from Abia State were learned. When we hear such a thing, to look as if you are all stupid. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, how much is governor's salary? The governor's salary is just 600,000. It used to be 1.2 million naira before Governor Okezi, as the former governor, slashed it to 600,000. So if you multiply 600,000 times 1 year, that's about 7.2 million naira. How would that pay pensioners and I'm coming, how would that pay pensioners and workers? Look at his counterpart in Osun State.
But it's rare,
the man forfeited.
it's rare, isn't it, for governors in Nigeria to forfeit their salaries? So
His counterpart in Osun State. Osun State governor,
I didn't say nobody else. I just said it's rare.
No, see what I wanted to do. If there's altruism, if there's altruism,
Mr. Obinna, I want to say thank you very much for your time here. We'll still keep this discussion going because Alex Otti he's in his first year. Certainly, after maybe 1 year, going into his second year, we'll have another review and appraisal.
And I would like to be here by that time. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.